All right, let's go hot. Wait a minute. Run that back. This game gives you tinnitus?
So as I sat down at my computer this morning, I thought, what video could I make? There really aren't a whole lot of updates out right now, and that's kind of my thing, so I wasn't sure where to go. I decided to take a look at my library here and see what I have and maybe check out the progress. I stumbled across Afterconflict, a Cold War tactical shooter that I did a video on about a year and a half ago or so, and oof, the thumbnail game though. I wanted to see how far the game has come and what's new, and all I've got to say is, wow. This game has some of the craziest attention to detail that I've ever seen, and what's crazier is that it's on its custom engine. It's not Unreal Engine, it's not Unity, it's a custom engine, and he's got all these features and all these models. It's just fantastic. We'll talk about that game here today. Welcome to the channel. My name is Tacti, and I cover primarily hardcore tactical shooters. If that's your thing and that's what you're into, and you're one of the 89% of people who enjoy watching me but haven't yet subscribed, tap that little red button below. You'll give me the endorphin shot that I need until I can finally quit my job and do this full time. You know, the dream. Anyway, let's take a look at this game and I'll show you some of the features. Right now, you can't purchase it. It's currently only available to Patreon supporters, so I'll link that down below, but eventually it'll be coming to Steam in early access. Like I said, Afterconflict is a bit of an anomaly in the gaming world at the moment. It describes itself as a realistic Cold War multiplayer tactical FPS, that's a lot of descriptive words, wherein the remnants of NATO and Warsaw Pact forces fight to the bitter end during the latter stages of World War III. So essentially just an alternate reality where the Cold War ended up being a little bit more explosive than the actual Cold War. As it's built on its own engine from the ground up, that can be a very good and a very bad thing. On one hand, there's a lot of freedom to be had in regards to realism, effects, and features, and I'll show you some of these here in the moment. I'll actually put a timestamp so that you can see the features on the range. But on the other hand, it can also make it difficult to add models, and graphically, it can be difficult to mold things, especially things like the human face and human dimensions. Look at that face. A face only a mother could love. But I expect this to change over time as the game progresses. Honestly, it's just very rare anymore to see an indie shooter running on something other than the Unreal Engine or Unity, so I really do give mad props for that. The optimization so far on it is okay. I'm running at 1440p and I'm getting about 80 FPS. Now granted, that's not with anybody else on the server, but it's doing okay, especially with the view distances. They've got a roadmap here of what they want to accomplish, and currently they're in DEFCON 4. DEFCON 1 is when they're going to release on Steam in early access. They've still got a decent amount of time before that happens. I'm not sure what the estimated time is supposed to be, but what I'm really waiting for is the US faction. As an American, of course, I'm going to want to get my hands on the freedom fighter that is the M16. Hopefully they don't go too realistic with that one and make the user field strip it as often as they used to. But I'll tell you what, one thing they do have going for them. They are pros at making AK variants. I mean, look at all these. As a civilian, I've got some research to do before I understand the differences with all these, if I ever get to that research. But all these weapons do have different weights and values. I mean, look at the factors that come into play. Weight, caliber, muzzle velocity, penetration, recoil, fire rate, accuracy. All I've got to say is this game has some huge aspirations, but after waiting a year and a half before checking the game out again, it's pretty incredible to see where they've come and what they've added. They've also got what every tactical shooter needs, weapon customizations, and these weapon models look really, really good. You can change the furniture on the weapon for visual enjoyment, you can add optics, you can change the iron sights. I'll show you more in a second once I get to the firing ranges, but briefly I want to mention the future of this game. Development of this game is slow. I'm not sure how many people are currently working on it. I believe at least 2, but I don't know much more than that. But there are some things the developer has in store for the future. The map sizes will be between 1 and 5 square kilometers in size. So for reference, Squad's map Fallujah is about 9 square kilometers. I don't really know how else to show you that scale, but it seems these maps are going to be a little bit smaller than Squad's, maybe comparable to something like Insurgency Sandstorm or something like that. As far as player count, each square kilometer, he said, will host a 12v12 battle. So this means on the largest maps, 5 square kilometers, the devs are hoping for 120 players on one server. Now this obviously is a huge undertaking, and with the game being on a custom engine, it could be very difficult. That's going to have to be one of those wait and see features. As far as I know, they haven't been able to stress test that, so that's just an aspiration for right now. There will also be some vehicle play. Here's some chunky boys, and Here's a heli they recently previewed on their Twitter, so that's freaking cool. Anyway, let's head on to the firing range so I can show you how the weapons shoot, I can show you some of the insane features, and how much this game is focused on attention to detail. Alright, here we are on the range. We've got our G3 with the inertia system. I wanted to show you some of the realistic aspects of this game, how it's really trying to strive for that realism, and the attention to detail is top-notch. So as you can see, there's an inertia system, swinging my rifle around like a madman. The UI, as you can see, it looks a little bit not ideal. So I wish they would either spice this up a bit or get rid of it completely. I'm not sure. It just needs an overhaul, because there's the stamina bar for me running, and it just doesn't look great. So, but I'm sure that's something in the future. But I'm running around here because I want to show you the stamina system, because when I ADS here, kind of all over the place. Compared to when my stamina is a little bit higher, it's just a little bit less. As you can see, there are targets down there. I always forget to put in a magazine. Alright, so I've got my 7.62 by 5.1 tracer rounds. You can see it, the optics look fantastic. I mean, that looks great. And let's see what it drops it down from. So I'm sitting at about 87 right here. Then I go to 79. Now granted, this is 1440p. I've got a 1070 Ti. I've got a 3700X Ryzen. And I'm playing at 1440p. I think I said that. But there's nobody else on this server, right? This is just client side. This is mine. So that could be difficult, especially if you want 120 players. But I'll take a shot here so you can see. I'll just show you this way, actually. There are the tracers. Really. Okay. So there's that. One of the craziest things is what I showed at the beginning of the video there. This full auto firing mechanism that dampens the sound and provides an experience where you hear tinnitus, right? Which is those ears ringing. So I'm going to pull this up. First, I'm going to swap to my iron sights, which is another feature that you can do flawlessly. Fantastic job there. We put it on full auto, and we're just going to show the suppression mechanic. It really is not an easy thing to control on purpose, because they just want it to be used for suppression, right? So I'm going to do it a little bit more. And then take a look at the barrel. As you can see, the barrel is, you can see the heat waves off of it. And when you shoot, it kind of distorts the view for a brief time. That's just a really, really cool feature that, again, in a custom engine is surprising to me. All right, next up here, while the barrel's still hot, we're going to switch to our secondary, where you can see something really cool. This attention to detail is something that I guess is in squad as well. So a lot of this stuff is also in other... Oh, there's a jam. There's a jam. Did you see that? It's also in other tactical shooters, but there are chances that the bullets are going to jam. Now, let me swap back. Decent animations. Let me swap back. Puts the safety off. And if that were to happen, let's say this next one is going to jam here. So let's say I'm jammed right here. Hit J. Cycles around. Right, and then I can keep shooting. Jam, jam. But I guess it also releases like a jam anyway. So either way, you can just waste bullets if you want. And they are objects on the ground. All right, next up, I want to talk a little bit about this aiming from cover, right? Now, they did have a blind fire where you could hold the weapon over. However, right now, they have this cool system where if you're aiming down the sights, you will aim almost around it. So let me get my other optic out here. There we go. See, so I'm right at the edge of this thing here, and all I'm doing is ADSing. Aiming this way, coming around,
something to get used to because I don't think I've ever used it in a game, but coming over this way. And that's pretty cool. All right, one more thing before I grab the AK. I want to show you the suppression mechanic because like all tactical games, you have to have a suppression mechanic. Otherwise, you're not a real tactical game. So we're going to throw that out there. We've got this here. So decent mechanic there. We're going to do it one more time because I think we can get it a little bit more extreme. But I can't get too close because, yeah, there we go. So just a little bit more extreme there. All right, let's head over to the other range and check out the AK because I want to show you the night vision and I want to show you zeroing the scopes. This one doesn't quite have it just yet. All right, briefly here, we've got the AK. I wanted to show you zeroing the scope before I show you night vision. So you can see, I gotta load every single time. I forget to do that. All right. So as you can see, I'm shooting. It goes, well, there's that bullet drop. It's got the tracers on it. But if I zero it down, a little bit too far. You could zero down, up. Well, my shot's terrible, but you can zero it like this. Seems pretty wild, doesn't it? And left and right if you really want to get wild. So there's that. I'm going to show you night vision real quick. Okay, so here's our chonky boy night vision. Take a look at it. I think one of the difficulties with this is obviously soldiers don't carry their weapon like this. So this makes it really kind of dumb. So I think one of the challenges is going to be how to implement something like this and not obstruct the view this much because no soldier walks with this right in front of his face. But we'll look down. This is broad daylight. We can change the time. Holy cow. And we can see. So this is probably actually a little bit too bright. Probably, my eyes would probably be burning right now because it's broad daylight. But if we can switch the time here. There we go. Can't see much of the range at all. You could see some of those bad boys down there. Got him. I never have this good of aim, ever. Anyway. So there's that. You can also, while you're using it, switch to the sights there. There's a jam. So there you've got it. This is Afterconflict. I hope you enjoyed the video. I know that this is an incomplete game. I know some features may be added, may be removed, but overall, again, the fact that this is a custom engine to me is just insane. So thanks for stopping by. If you're still around, you, my friend, are a true hero. And until next time, stay tactical.